walking inside, and Baltimore and Mrs. Peach don't even talk to each other. Like, it's not even, why are you here? They don't even talk to each other. She leaves, it's just me, Sam, the kids, Mr. Peach, and Baltimore outside. Hey beautiful, welcome back to my channel. And if you're new, hi, my name is Alexisjayda and welcome to today's video. Well, today's story time. Today's notification shout out goes to Shasha. Thank you so much for all your love and support. Te quiero mucho. I hope I didn't butcher your name, but thank you so much for all your love and support. If you guys want to be the next notification shout out, all you have to do is like this video, hit subscribe, turn the notification bell on, and leave a comment down below. And your comment can possibly be the next notification shout out. So I feel like it's been a hot minute, but it's been a week, but I feel like it's been forever. So I'm gonna put my skincare on and let me tell you guys, it has been crazy. So don't think I just been kicking up with my feet and just been chillaxing. It's been crazy and a lot has been going on with my family. So I've just been extremely busy with my mom, extremely busy with my brother. My brother got a little bit sick. He's doing better now. Thank you, Jesus. And my mama, she has been going through it as well. It's just been really, really difficult. And then just my problems alone, I'm just like, sometimes I'm like, I just want to record, but I feel like I can't just put out something that I'm not going to be happy with. And I wouldn't want you guys to watch something where it doesn't look like it's good. And my Baltimore, I wasn't the happiest with it, but I really tried, you guys. And so I'm gonna put that video out because you guys were like, Jade, this is what I needed. I needed a laugh. So that made me feel like, okay, you know what, Alexis, you need to lighten up a little bit, because there's times where I'll record something and I'm like, no, I just don't like it. I don't like how I look. I don't like how my eyes twitching. I don't like this. I don't like that. You share too much. And so it's literally like a struggle sometimes. And I talked to a lot of you guys. You guys are like, just put it up, Lex. Stop. Just put it up. Stop. I did order some makeup. It was so funny. Quick little story time. It's not even that deep, but it was to me. So I ordered from BEAUTYBAY, right? It was supposed to be delivered like 2 weeks ago. And so I hit them up. I'm like, hey, look, I looked at tracking. This is like all the tracking. Look, it's rerouting back to you guys. I'm not sure why. I didn't refuse the package. Blah, 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 blah. She writes back. She's like, keep watching it, keep tracking it, it's going to you. I'm like, ma'am, and then I walk outside and it's right there. And I'm like, I would hate, because I worked in a call center for USPS, UPS, and I would hate when we would have to tell a customer like, it's on its way, or then they'd be like, what? And I literally would be on the phone with them and they'd be cussing me out, and I'd be like, do you have like, maybe like they put it somewhere like under something? And then we talk to them and be like, oh yeah, it's right here, they put it right here, all right, bye, and just hang up. And it was just so funny for me to be on the other side of the call. Stupid, I know, but I was just like, so I apologize. I was like, ma'am, I'm sorry, you're just doing your job. So I got this from BeautyBay as well. This was on sale for 12 bucks. Okay, so I was like, I'm gonna get it. Do I need it? No, but am I gonna get it? Yes, it's called Fury. Mira que bonita. Oh my. I've never used BeautyBay's like palettes and stuff, so when I seen this one, I was like, it's meant to be, right? So this one's on sale. I will link it down below. Hopefully it's still on sale, you guys, so get it for you. Do your Christmas shopping ahorita, because things are gonna be selling out, I'm telling you. So if you have a lover like me, who's like me, who loves like fall colors, affordable, beautiful, and big, okay, then this is why I got on the website to begin with, because I wanted this palette. I know it's supposed to be a story time, but we're catching up, you guys. I'm so freaking pissed. This was a palette that I was waiting for, you guys, and 2 shades are broken. I don't really want to tip it over. This one and that one. That sucks. And I know they just be throwing around stuff too. All right, and then this one is the Dominique Cosmetics. So here is the Dominique Cosmetics. It's more of your transitions. That's why it says keep life simple. And it says the transition palette. Let's see what we can create. So before we begin, let me know what you're doing, what you're eating, what you're munching on, what you're drinking, where you're driving, who you with, what you're cooking, what you're cleaning. I would love to know. Please let me know down below. And If you guys enjoy my story times, please, please, please make sure to give me a thumbs up. It helps out the channel a lot, and it lets me know that you guys like the story times, and it really helps me out a lot. It helps recommend the videos to you guys as well. So please, 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 right now, even if you have me playing on your television, that sounded funny. Even if you guys have me playing on your TV, have me in the background, have me in your pocket, listening to me on your AirPods, look at the phone real quick and just hit like, please. I would really appreciate it. All right, so let's get started. So we're leaving off from my previous story time that is part of my Nanny series. I have them in order. I've had a few questions of like, Alexis, are they from like part 1, part 2? Yes, I put it and listed it in order so like you can just follow along. And yeah, and I did do another story time on my therapist that's separate, so I will be doing separate story times as well. Everything I will be using will be listed down below. I always list everything, so make sure to check it out. Mr. Peach asks me if Mrs. Peach pretty much informed me of what's going to be going on and how I'm going to be splitting up, babysitting over here, babysitting over there. And so I told him like, oh yeah, like she let me know. Before me and him can even continue our little conversation, Sam steps in. This is not permanently. Like, I don't know why you're sitting here and you're making it more than what it is. Telling Mr. Peach, okay? Even though I wasn't super grown, I was like, oh man, she's hurting. Like, this is gonna be something that's going to affect her. Like, I know she plays hard and is like such a dick to Mr. and Mrs. Peach. This is gonna be something that is going to mess with her. You know how sometimes there's kids where divorce affects them, and sometimes there's kids where it's like, I'd rather there be like no fighting and like nah. You know what I mean? So, and I've never understood that kind of pain because I never had a father. I kind of like felt for her in that moment, and I felt for Sam a lot. I was just like, she was just very misunderstood to a certain extent, because también la pinche cabrona fea would freaking push it. She wasn't ugly, but it's just something that sounded cute, right? Okay, anyways, so I kind of just look at her. She catches me looking at her, and she's like, ugh. Like, she was probably like, don't pity me, bitch. But I was pitying her. I was like, because it was sad. You could tell it was something that bothered her. So he just looks at her and tells her to quit. Like, he's just quit. Stop. Annoyed with her. Like, ugh, I'm not gonna deal with this here. And he kept saying stuff like that, like, not in my house. And it's like, oh, shut up. You have your house for like, what, 24 hours and ya te crees? Shut up. I need y'all to say prayers for my mama and my brother, please. Please. Thank you. Y'all, I'm pissed. Where are my brushes? And that's another story time. I have like so many story times I need to tell you guys about my pinche prima stealing my makeup. But anyways, he was annoying me because he was, any opportunity, not in my house, not here. You could do that at your mom's house, but not in my house. And it was so annoying because it's just, shut the hell up. Shut the hell up. Shut up. Shut up. It was like, ooh, he was just waiting to escape because now he like had even like he felt like he was the boss, right? Oh, this has a big ass mirror. Look at that. You see everything. So he has boxes that he needs us to help him. He was trying to be like the whole like, he's a good guy and like, let's do this together. Like, we're in this together, right? So he's asking us like, come on, you guys, you think you guys can help me? And maybe we can go like, you know, get some pizza later or something. And I don't know, you guys, I think I've seen so much toxic stuff going around since I was really young. I already could spot what he was doing, and I was already like, he's going to act like he's like super dad, pin us against Mrs. Peach, make her feel even more isolated. I knew too much for my age, okay? When I read a lot of the things that I wrote down, I'm like, how in the fuck could you be so smart but so stupid? How? Tell me, how? How? Sometimes I get mad at my damn self, and that's why sometimes I can't even record, because I get so pissed off and I'm like, I'm just gonna be crying the whole time and my makeup's gonna be everywhere. So it takes a minute, me having to talk to little X and be like, hey, you were stupid smart, but it's okay. So anyways, I wasn't in the best mood. I was like, okay, here he goes. Especially how he was acting with like the babies and stuff, and he was pretty much telling them a little bit too much that they needed to know. Didn't sit right with me. So I would try and distract them and be like, come on, you guys, let's start here. And he kind of understood where I was like, okay, no, because even Sam for a minute was like, yeah, like she's just yeah, like was listening because they were complaining about Mrs. Peach doing something about her being like, you know, in a bad mood. Like, you know how your mom gets, don't do that. Don't do that. Like, don't do that. Like, don't. So I was getting annoyed. So I'd be like, come on, you guys. I'm like, Sam, come on. Like, even having to look at her, like, get it together. Come on. Like, oh my gosh. Because it was just so annoying. So as we're putting stuff away, Baltimore's bitch ass was still there, and she was helping and kind of like touching his shoulder and stuff. Like, it was, I guess at the moment, I was like, what in the hell happened for everyone to be so pity to Mr. Peach? Because they're acting like she took his webbles or something, you know, and it wasn't sitting right with me. Again, it could be because I knew too much. I was a child and I was just around too much of toxic stuff where I was like, something ain't right. None of my business. None of my business. We get to helping him unpack. Baltimore did not need to be there as long as she was. She didn't. She would have put all the boxes in. Why are you still here, Miss Parker? Why are you here? We're finishing up and he has some nice fancy stuff. Like, he was, you know, splurging a little bit more, and he was making his comments of, since your mom didn't let me have this and I can have it in my house. It's like, okay, you know, so it's just like, shut up, because I worked with him. I've seen a lot of things, and I've seen him get things that he wanted, and she would tell him like, oh, why'd you do this, or why'd you do that, and he'd be like, so I wanted to. So it was kind of hard for me to get sucked into the game of like, poor me, woe is me, because I didn't like how he was trying so hard. Like, I don't like Miss Peach, but at the same time, like, I don't like her for my own reasons. Don't try to add to it so I can be like, okay? So anyways, Mrs. Baltimore did not need to be there as long as she was. Mr. Peach sees that, you know, the kids are getting a little bit fussy. They're getting a little bit hungry. They're getting a little bit like, we need to eat. So he asks us what we would like to eat. Dad, didn't you say we're gonna go eat pizza? He starts to laugh and like, you're right, let's get ready. I was just testing you. Like, he was really doing the most. And I was like, okay, you know what, talking to myself, like, maybe he's doing the most so that the kids get in like a cheaperty kind of mood too. I'm just a low-key hater because I ain't got no daddy, okay? I would literally have these conversations in my head and be like, you know what, like, stop, fight with myself because I wanted to be such a bitch. Like, stop it, you know? And a lot of that is because my mom and my tias and my cousins and stuff, when they would get into an argument with their dude, they'd be like, I'm stupid, like, nip it, and be like, there was a way to go about it, you know? So that affected me into adult life as well, because I would always be like, what game he's playing. Like, I was always one step ahead sometimes, and sometimes it was like, damn, it ain't that deep, you know? So I kind of had to talk to myself and be like, damn, Lex, like, let up. Because it has nothing to do with me. He's like, all right, let's go eat, right? And Baltimore gets in the car too. And I look at Sam because, like, why is she coming? And I know Sam was thinking the same damn thing. Like, why are you here? So in Sam fashion, she starts to act up. And she tries to go in the front seat. Baltimore, like, moves her out of the way and gets there and, like, looks at her like, don't start. And it's just so weird to me because I'm like, oh, I don't know. Maybe I was reading too much into it. She was just hungry too. But it's like, okay, just because Mrs. Peach ain't here, don't mean like the position is open, bitch. What are you doing? So Sam asks her, like, why are you even coming? Like, don't you have a boyfriend? Like, why are you here? And Mr. Peach is like, Sam, don't start. She's like, no, like, why is she here? Like, I don't get it. Like, she was just talking to her dude the other day. Why is she here? So they start arguing, and it just felt like, oh, everything's going back to normal, you know, because here goes the fighting again. She tells Sam, like, to stop. She's like, hey, yeah, like, yeah. She's like, no, like, why are you here? Like, for real, like, why are you here? I don't understand why you're here. You could have just dropped the boxes off and leave. Like, you didn't have to be here. You don't have to be touching up on him. Like, he already has a wife. And so she was so, like, upset. And I was like, damn, like, she has Mrs. Peach's back. Like, okay. So I'm just sitting there listening, and I'm kind of like, Mr. Peach, like, before we even take off, is like fighting with her, like, stop. And she's like, no, like, why is she here? Like, if she goes, I'm not going. And he's like, are you serious? And she's like, yeah, if she goes, I'm not going. Like, I'm not going. Like, I'm not gonna eat. Like, I'm not gonna be hungry. I don't want to go. It was so awkward. So she keeps telling him, if she goes, I'm not going, and folds her arm, and she's like, I'm serious. Like, if she goes, I'm not going. I don't know what she thought, but she was in the back seat. Baltimore's in front. The doors are already closed. That man took off. He did not let her get out. And he said, you know what, Sam, I'm not gonna deal with this. You can act like that over there. Oh, here we go again. You can act like that over there, but not over here. And it's just, So she's like, okay, well, I'm not gonna eat. I'm not gonna get out of the car. And she's just, you know, she keeps going. And he's like, okay, you don't have to get out of the car, but I'm not gonna leave you here alone. And she's like, okay, fine. So we get to this pizza place. We all get out. It's so awkward because I'm even thinking too, like, why are you here? Leave. Like, why are you here? Don't you guys have something to do? So as we're getting off, I get a message from Mrs. Peach. How's everything? When I'm telling you, I have my moments of being a little freaking shit. I'm not innocent. I know that there was things that I did, and I know. I own up to it. I've asked God for forgiveness. I know, okay? And it's really hard sometimes because I would feel for her, but I'm like, man, remember when you talked to me like this? Remember you said like my mom, like, oh, all of a sudden she's like mom of the year, all this stuff, right? You think I forgot? Okay. So as everyone's getting out of the car, I have the message. Mr. Peach is opening the door. Baltimore's right there. The kids are right there. Sam got off. Boom. Took a picture. I'll be sending Mrs. Peach's the best of pictures. So take the picture, right? Within minutes. No, not even minutes. Seconds. Mr. Peach's phone's going. He looks at it, puts it in his back pocket, doesn't even respond. Baltimore. Freaking phone just ringing. She keeps going. She keeps calling them for like a good couple of minutes until she resorts back to messaging me. Tell Mr. Peach, tell Mrs. Baltimore to answer their phone. And I just say, okay. So I tell Mr. Peach, hey, Mrs. Peach said to answer your phone. He looks at me, okay, Alexis, like annoyed. Like I said, it is my fault, but not my problem. So I said, okay, he said, okay. She gives me question marks. Like, I don't know, Mrs. Peach, like, how you want me to figure it out? Like, why are you, like, what am I supposed to do? So we eat. Sam is just pissed off, sitting at a whole different table because she does not want to sit with Baltimore. I get it. I was trying to be nice and I was going to go sit with her, but she's like, what are you doing? And I was like, nothing. And I just moved somewhere else because like, I'll go sit next to them. Like, I was trying to be nice and we could both be on the same team, but no, you want to be a bitch? Fine. Everyone's eating. I hear Mr. Peach saying, yeah, we're not doing anything. I don't know. We're not doing anything bad. I don't know. I don't know why she's acting like, you don't know why she's acting like that. What do you mean? Like, what do you mean? Like, I hate when people all of a sudden, I'm like, I don't know why she's acting crazy. Because you're making her crazy and because Alexis sent a photo. Okay? That's why. That's why. Again, that was childish, Alexis, okay? Like, I had no business doing that. But I could just not get over how she was so mean to me. Like, oh, you're all of a sudden your mom's a good mom. So I sent it. Kids are enjoying it. It's great. It's starting to get late. I tell Mr. Peach, after this, are you going to take me home or like what's the plan? Because I'm not gonna spend the night. Like, I don't like just because the kids are spending the night. Like, I'm not gonna spend the night. Like, and his dumbass is like, I thought Mrs. Peach talked to you. I thought like you were gonna spend the night, the first night. Wait, what? I was like, no, like I need to go home. She didn't talk to me about that. She just said I'm gonna be babysitting over here, babysitting over there, and that's it. All right, well, I didn't feel like driving all the way out there. Like, when I tell you, these, no shame. No shame. And so I just kind of look at him and I'm like, well, if this is going to be in, you know, this is gonna always be a problem, like you having to take me, then like I don't think I'll be able to do it, Mr. Peach. And I felt so awkward, and in my head I was like, did you really say that? Oh my god, did you really say that? And he looks at me, he's like, no, I just meant like tonight, because like I'm really tired, we were unpacking, it's been a long day, I just thought. And in my head I'm like, you thought what, beach? Like going crazy in my head, right? And I'm like, oh yeah, I could see why you probably thought that, but I need to be home. And I don't feel comfortable spending the night. And he kind of just looks at me like, why? And I didn't want to say here, like, because you grown, you're a man, it's gross. Like, what the hell? Like, what are you talking about? So, all of that, right? In my head. And I just look at him. He looks at me. And we're just looking at each other awkwardly. And Baltimore chimes in. She's like, it's okay. I'll take her. I was kind of relieved because I was like, okay, I know he was gonna do probably something stupid and be like, I'll just take her, like Sam can stay in the house, you know, something stupid. So I was like, oh, thanks, you know. She looks at me and she's like, yeah, we need to talk. So I was like, great. So we finished eating. The kids are getting tired and Sam is not as fussy, which was good because I'm like, okay, good. Like we're, you know, it's gonna be a good car ride back home. Mrs. Peach was still calling and they were still ignoring her. And I felt kind of bad because I didn't look at my phone to open her message. Like I looked at my phone, but I wasn't opening her messages. I was like texting other people, you know, and I just wasn't replying to her because I didn't want to deal with it. I was like, even though I added more flames, I didn't want to deal with it because I didn't get. Anyways, so we leave, we get in the car, and he's like pretty much telling Baltimore like, like she swears we're gonna do something in front of the kids, but they're saying this in Spanish, you know, so it sounds like a little bit more ugh. So she's like, yeah, I know, I don't know, I think it's hitting her pretty hard. And I'm just like, damn, how can you be so grimy of a friend? Like for real, like how can you be so grimy? And I just keep taking mental notes, like I don't want people like that in my life because she's scary. Like she over here really acting like she's doing the God's work or something, you know what I mean? Like she's something else. So we get to the house, he takes the kids out. Baltimore just tells me I can go wait in her car. I'm like, okay, cool. And so he asks me like, are you gonna be able to help tomorrow, Alexis? Like I need, you know, some help with the kids and there's like other things that I have to do. And I'm like, yeah, sure. And he tells me like, are you gonna need a ride or do you want me to go pick you up? I tell him that I can just get a ride and he's like, okay, great. So I wait in the car, and as I'm waiting in the car, I start going on my phone and I start texting, and I get a message from Joe. He's asking me if I'm doing anything, that he really just like needs to talk to me and misses me. And I'm like, don't really want to do all this again. Don't want to sit here and do this. He's like, please. And we were just like talking. He was saying some funny stuff, and I was like smiling, right? Baltimore gets in the car. And she's like asking me like, why are you smiling? You think it's funny that you sent her a picture? You don't think I know? And I was like, oh, that's not why I was smiling. And she's like, then tell me why, huh? So she starts like going into me. And I was like, she asked what we were doing. So I sent her a photo. And she's like, why? Like, you know what you're doing. I'm like, sending a photo? I was really bold. I shouldn't have been that bold because she could have done something. No one knows where I'm at. Okay? Like, we don't even know if my mom's like fully like at 100. Like what if she happened to have been like somewhere like, you know, in La La Land and I went missing? You know what I mean? She proceeds to tell me that they're going through a difficult time and they don't need me, pretty much stirring the pot. And I'm like, okay. I wasn't, I just sent her a photo. Total like monotone, teenage bitchy vibes. You know what kids do when you're like, don't do that. They're like, okay. I wasn't even doing nothing. You know, I knew what I was doing. I was just trying to, did not care. Did not care. So she proceeds to drive. I'm not even paying attention because like, I don't know why I thought like, oh, she's just going to take me straight home. Yeah, you thought. Why? Because you're stupid. We pull into the driveway and we are at Mrs. Peach's house. And I'm like, what the fuck? Okay. We pull it at Mrs. Peach's house and before we can even get out of the car and before I can even say like, what are we doing? Mrs. Peach is like, what the fuck were you doing over there? They start going at it and I like talk over them and I'm like, did you need my mom to pick me up here? Or like, are you still gonna take me? And she's like, yeah, your mom needs to come and pick you up. Like, I'm not gonna take you all the way over there. Like, what? Think. And I'm like, oh, you a bitch. So I get on the phone and I'm like, hey, she doesn't respond. I'm like, oh, fuck, okay. They about to go at it. And I'm gonna be here stranded, not knowing where to go. So I asked Mrs. Peach, like, can I wait inside? And she's like, what? I don't care. Do you not see I'm talking? I'm like, okay, whatever. So as I'm going inside, there's a window in the sala where you can open it and you can listen. Sometimes they have it closed and sometimes they have it open. And baby Jesus was like, we're going to leave it open for you, Alexis. And I said, thank you, Jesus. So I go in, sit on the couch, and I can just hear them. They are reading each other for filth. Mrs. Peach calling her a little bitch. Baltimore is like, I love him too. Like, you know, as family. When she said, I love him too, there was a knot in my throat. And I said, no, you didn't. And then she's like, as family. Bitch, you took too long to say as family. I swear. It was like too long. I love him too. And then she's probably like, she gonna kill me. So she was like, as family, shut the fuck up. So you guys just doing incest then? Because family don't do that. Like, that's disgusting. Ugh. So they're fighting, cussing each other out. Use this, use that. And I'm just sitting there listening, and I'm like, gosh, this is so ugly. And at a point, Baltimore tries to come in the house. Mrs. Peach stops her. Where are you going? You're not going in my house. And she's like, oh my gosh, don't start. And she's like telling her, like, I'm going inside the house. Stop. She's telling her, I do this, I do that, whatever. And I'm just like, and then I hear, Alexis, close the door. So to pretty much lock it, right? But I was like, she got a key. Like, what are you doing? Like, are you trying to, like, we're both on the same team? Because, like, that's not my business. And so when she says that, Baltimore just, like, pushes by her. And you can just hear, like, you know how you hear, like, when someone, like, a certain thing, and you're like, oh, this is what it, she pushed her into the bush. She pushed her into the bush. So I'm, like, surprised that she pushed her into the bush, because I know when she gets up, she about to beat her ass. So my mom hasn't messaged me. As soon as I heard that she got pushed in, as soon as I heard, like, oh, she pushed her, all you hear is, I'm just like, I start getting scared. I don't know why. Sometimes when a fight goes down, I get freaking hard. Like, it's like an adrenaline rush. It's so weird, okay? Like, I have always wanted to go to a UFC fight just because I like that stuff. And then another part of me, it'd be like a freaking Wednesday, and I'm like, I can't. So I start getting kind of freaked out, and I'm like, Mom, are you up? Are you gonna text? Like, are you gonna text me back? Like, what's going on? Like, where do I go? Where are you at? I don't want to just show up over there, you not be there. Hello, Mom. So I start getting angry because, like, my mom's not messaging me back. They're over there tussling, and you can hear them freaking fighting. And you think that I would want to go out there and break it up, right? No, I don't give a damn. I don't. They both need to get their ass beat. I don't care if it was by each other. I don't care at all. Joe happens to message me at that time, asking me if we can please talk. And I tell him, like, I'm trying to find a ride. I wanted him to low-key be my ride, right? Like, I knew. So I was like, no, I'm trying to find a ride. Mrs. Peach and Baltimore are going at it. And he's like, swear. I'm like, yeah, they are. And he's like, about what? I'm like, I don't know, it's just drama. Because I didn't want him to think that we have resumed to going back to besties, right? He tells me, well, can I take you? And I'm like, take me where? Because now I'm like traumatized, because Baltimore was like, I'll take you home. Bitch, you took me to your house. You did not take me home. I'm like, you're gonna take me home? I said, to where? I said, you're gonna take me home, question mark? And he said, wherever you wanna go. I was like, boys, stop. Because I'm over here getting like goosebumps, right? I did like him, but not no more. So he tells me that he's gonna take me home, wherever you wanna go. And I'm like, yeah, I wanna go home. That's where I wanna go. So they're still tussling and fighting, okay? You can hear them, you can hear the screaming, then you hear the neighbor going, hey, like really loud. Baltimore tells him, mind your business. I'm talking to my sister. So I'm like, okay, whatever, in my head. And I'm just like literally just like letting them hash it out. I get a text message from Sam. She's like, hey, what's going on? Mr. Peach says that he can see on the camera that they are arguing. And I'm like, they're doing more than arguing. They're fighting. And she's like, why? Like, what are you doing? How come you're not out there? Because it's not my business, Sam. I don't get paid enough, Sam. What are you talking about, Sam? You got some nerve, Sam. She sends me a rude ass message, pretty much that I ain't ever gonna be. And this is why they don't see me as part of the family. And I just put back, okay? I don't care, okay? You're trying to hurt me. You think I'm gonna be like, oh, you're right. I should go out there. I wanna be No. They're going at it still. It feels like forever. It goes from fighting, cussing each other out, to crying, listening. Mr. Peach was just fed up with Mrs. Peach. He had found out that she was messaging someone from work, and they would hang out sometimes. Huh, who knew? Who knew? Mrs. Baltimore knew, that's who. So, pretty much, Peach felt betrayed because she was like, how would he find out? Baltimore's like, I don't know. I didn't tell him. Yeah, you did. Shut up. You were just waiting on it. Okay, that's what it was. Baltimore's saying no. and that it was innocent. And you know what's funny? It's very common for this to happen because you spend so much time at work and you think that this person and you are like, oh my God. The same kind of thing happened with my ex-sister-in-law. And remind me to tell you that story time because that bitch has some nerve, nerve when she was confiding in me what she was doing, and I told her like, oh yeah, some boy messaged me. She's like, I'm not gonna tell my brother. Me como pinche pendeja estúpida. I was like, okay, and then I get my ass beat. Okay, whatever. Anyways, I swear sometimes when things happen, it like opens a Pandora box to other shit. Joe's on his way to pick me up, so they're arguing and I'm laughing because I'm like, Joe's gonna pull up and he's gonna see how they're acting. She's gonna get all embarrassed. At this point, I don't care. I don't know why. I'm like, what is going on, Lex? I'm talking to myself sometimes and I'm like, what's going on? Why don't you care? Like, what the heck? This is your place of work. But I was like, you know what? If they ask, like, why is he here? I'm gonna be like, I couldn't stop you guys. I didn't want to come outside and like interrupt your guys' little kumbaya moment, right? They're still arguing. They're still fighting. And I hear Joe's car. You know how sometimes you just know, like, I swear your ears like perk up when you know, like, not your person, but you know who's coming and you're like, you know, because he wasn't my person. But anyways, I could hear that he was coming. So I was like, oh, okay. So I started getting ready and I'm like, all right, I'm going to go out there. And I just hear dead silence from him, like dead silence. And so I walk outside. Mrs. Peach locks eyes with me. And she's like, really? Like that. Because I was like, I'm sorry. I'm like, Baltimore said she's going to take me home, but she brought me here. So Mrs. Peach looks at her and she's like, really? Like, oh, it was just, okay. And so I have my backpack. I always have my damn backpack. And so I'm like, so I'm gonna go. And I leave. And I get in the car and Joe's just like cheesing, doing his whole like, that's crazy. Like they're looking, I was like, I know they want to kill me right now. I'm like, let's go. He's like, all right. And so he like tries to put his hand on my thigh. Like, all right, like try to squeeze it like, oh, let's go. And I'm like, I look at him, I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, too soon? I'm like, yeah, like way too soon. Like way too soon. So we start driving. He tells me like, oh, thank you so much for letting me pick you up. Like, I didn't think you ever wanted to talk to me again. Like we have so much that we need to talk about. I'm like, no, not really. You don't gotta explain anything. And I tell him like, you broke my heart. Like you broke my heart. It's okay. I was stupid. I just really want to get home. Like I don't want something to happen to me. I just want to get home. Like I just feel scared. I don't know why I felt scared. Like as I was reading the journal entry, I don't know like what was going on, or if it's just one of those days where like sometimes you smell the air and it takes you back to like a certain memory, or like you can just be doing something and randomly like your gut just feels like it's going to your asshole, right? I didn't know what was going on. I felt scared. He's like, oh no, like okay, like I'll just take you. I'm like, okay, thanks. So we get there pretty quick and we're just kind of having like small talk, but it really was nothing like, ooh, like wow, like nothing at all. He just kept saying like, oh, like, you know, like I miss us, like whether it be friendship, like whatever, like we don't ever have to do anything. I just, you know, like I miss you and stuff. And my mom's like so mad at me because she told me never to like mess with you or hurt you because I, you know, like you already been through enough. And I was kind of like mad. I was kind of mad because I don't like being talked about like that. Oh, like leave her alone, she already been through enough. Like pretty much like damaged goods, right? So I didn't really like it. Like he wasn't making me feel good. Like, yeah, you should listen to your mom, Joe, you know? And he's like, my mom misses you. And when he said that, I was like, I miss her too, Joe. And he's like, do you really? And I'm like, yeah, like she cool. Like, yeah, of course I miss her. And he's like, well, you guys should like meet up sometime. She told me she invited you to coffee and you like stood her up. I was like, she didn't text me that day and you know, a lot of stuff was happening. She told me the day before. I was like, but it wasn't anything personal. And since she didn't message confirming, I was like, okay, like maybe she just said it. And he's like, no, like you think too much. And I'm like, okay. I was just okaying everybody that day. Okay, you get a K, you get a K, and you get a K. And you get a K. He just like kind of like just looks at me and kind of is like trying to like read my face. You know when people try to do that. He was trying to read my face of like, is she upset? Is she mad? Like what's going on? And so he kind of like slips in there like what are you stressing about? Like you having like relationship problems? And I was like, ding, 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 trying to see if I'm with what's his face. And I kind of like chuckle because it's like, dude, you ain't fooling me. And I look at him and I was like, I told you like we're not together. He grips the steering wheel. He's like, still? Like that. Like if he had a chance, like, no. no. And I was like, yep, still. All right then, like a big ass smile. I was like, all right then what? And he's like, nothing, just all right then, like that. And so we get close to my mom's friend's house and I don't see her car. And I'm like, oh my God. I think you could see the worry on my face because he's like, what's going on? And I'm like, my mom's not there. And he's like, how do you know? I'm like, because the car's not there. So I don't know where I'm going. Like, and so I'm like freaking out. And I'm like, I shouldn't have like left so soon. Like I probably messed things up. So now everything's starting to click in. Like now the freaking consequences are kicking in. And I'm like, I'm gonna get in trouble. I'm not gonna have a job. I don't know why I did that. I don't know why I sent her the picture. Everything starts clicking in. He puts the car in park and he's like, whoa, 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 like relax, relax, relax. I'm sure like they don't even care. Like they're just dealing with their own mess. So I was like, it's because of me, like it's my fault. And he's like, wait, what? No, like that is their own action. Like, no, it has nothing to do with them. I'm like, yeah, it is. Like crying, right? And he's like consoling me. I'm freaking out. I'm texting my mom and I'm texting her very aggressively. Like, where are you? Why aren't you ever home? Going off on her, like freaking out because I'm like, why aren't you ever home? Why can't I ever just come home and you be home? Why are you out? Why are you doing this? Why can't you just be normal? Like, I'm just like super pissed. He can see it on my face and he's like, if you want, we can go back to my place. And I'm like, no, Joe, like, I don't want to go back to your place. No, like, no. I was like, you can just leave me here. I'll just wait out there. And he's like, you're tripping. Like, I'll keep you company. Like, we'll like you're tripping. Like, I'll just park over there, so like we're not right here and like not everyone's just staring at you. We can park over there and we can just chill and we can just hang out until she gets back. And I'm like, are you sure? Because I didn't want to be alone, you know. I acted like chingo now, like just leave me here, I'll be fine. And he's like, bitch, shut the fuck up. You a scared cat. And so we park and we sit there. He has the air going, a little bit of, you know, some music going, and we're just sitting there in silence for like a good minute. I don't even touch my phone. I'm just literally like thinking a mile a minute about like my mom. Is she in jail? Did she mess up? Like, what's going on? Because sometimes when my mom would go like MIA, she was either in jail, she didn't have a phone, she was fighting, doing stuff, fighting her demons. So I was just like, what's going on? Like, am I not gonna be able to stay here? Like, what's going on? Just going in my head. I don't have time to converse with him and be like, so how was your Monday? I don't got time for that. I'm trying to think like, what are we gonna do, Lex? We're not with the ex. We're not gonna go and sit with the stepdad. Grandma is over there. Like, I can't go with grandma. My cousin Cola's a bitch. So I'm just like thinking like, where is Lex going to go? Where is Lex going to lay? Okay. Just thinking and thinking like, what is going to go on? He tries to like snap me out of the thinking and grips my thigh, and I look at him and kind of just like, he's like, I can't even like touch you. And I'm like, no, Joe, you can't even touch me. Like, did you really forget like what you did? He tries to tell me like it was a mistake. I was like, please don't. And he's like, all right, so we're just gonna sit here and like not talk or nothing. I was like, no, and if you want to talk, it's okay if you want to go, because I just need to like just sit here. I'm seriously like freaking out about my mom. I've always been scared that my mom going missing, like she was gonna go missing and no one was going to know where she's at, because my mom got a freaking mean ass mouth. My mom did not give a damn if you were male or female. She would rip you to shreds. Like, my mom did not care. My mom did not have a chill button. Like, I've seen my mom like tell off like big ass dudes and read them for filth. And my mom had that face where it's like she didn't even like twitch or move. Like, she was not scared. Like, my mom just has like that deadlock face, like, what? She don't care. Like, Mom, you're not scared of death? You're not. She don't care. So I'm over here thinking like what is she doing? What did she do? A mile a minute. And we just sat there like in quiet. So at the time I was texting my mom's friend too, obviously, like, hey, do you know where my mom's at? Is my mom with you? She's not even messaging me. So I'm getting mad at the both of them. Like, the both of them. Like, how are you not going to care if I'm gonna come home or not? It's not like if I wasn't coming home or like if we weren't checking in. So just thinking and thinking and thinking, like, how could you, ma'am? How could you? How motherfucking could you? we're both kind of just, you know, looking at each other, having a little bit of small talk, asking him like, how are you and our girl? He's like, I told you we're not together no more. I told you, like, you know, I'm just waiting on you. I'm like, well, I don't know why you're waiting on me. Like, I don't want any of this. He's like, all right. And I felt kind of mean because it's like, dude, he's waiting with you. But don't ever fucking feel like you owe anybody anything because they're doing you a favor. Don't be like, especially when it comes to like, if you feel like you have to give something back like sexually or like give someone attention because like they're helping you out, like, oh, I have to. You don't have to do a damn thing. Do you understand me? No, you don't. Okay, and that's what kind of messed with me a lot, is because at times I feel like I had to, like, oh, I have to do this because like I don't want him to lose interest. Like, oh, I have to do this because like you don't owe anybody a damn fucking thing. If they're doing you a favor or they're doing this to be nice, then let them be nice. Don't feel like you have to do something. And if they imply that you have to, F them and get to walking. You don't need that. Don't, because once you let it happen once, let it happen twice, it becomes a forming habit. And it's something that you will have a hard time breaking. So don't do it, okay? All right. So he just stays quiet and he like asks me like, where do you think she's at? I don't know, Joe. If I knew, I wouldn't be sitting here stressing. And he just gets kind of quiet and I feel kind of mean because I'm like, okay, like obviously he doesn't know. Sorry. I'm freaking out. I'm always scared of like losing my mom young. He's like, what? Why? I'm like, because like the stuff that, you know, like she goes out and do, and like the people that she messes with, like people out here really don't care. Like they're not gonna see her like, oh, she's dealing with her demons or this or that. Like they're gonna see her and be like, boom, like my mom don't care. And there has been so many times where my mom has been put in a horrible situation and I am literally on the verge of tears waiting for her to call me back, and they have to find out like this happened, that happened, that happened. Or having like a freaking drug dealer call me and cuss me out saying like he's going to do this and this to me because something happened with my mom. I'm explaining my fear, he's being nice and just listening. As we're talking, he's listening. I don't know how, but he found my hand and we're holding hands, okay? My hands are sweating. I mean like sweating. It feels like poodles and poodles. And kind of just like laughs like it's, you know, like it's okay. And as we're talking, my phone finally rings and it's a number I don't recognize. But I answer that call because I'm like, you know what? It's gonna probably be my mom. So I answer it and it's my mom and she is cussing me out. Where the are you? And I'm like, where are you? Like, what do you mean, where are you? I'm like, I'm trying to get a hold of you. Don't play stupid with me. Don't play these games. And I'm like, Mom, like, I'm serious. Like, where are you? My mom's bipolar, so she goes from 0 to 100, boom, to 1,000. And so I'm trying to talk to her and I'm like, where are you? And she's like, why do you think you can just do whatever you want, staying out? I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm in front of, I wasn't say her name. I'm in front of so-and-so's house. Like, where are you? Like, I'm waiting on you. She's like, you better be there. I'm gonna be there in 10 minutes. So she's mad at me. My mom was probably doing this because she knew she messed up. So she was trying to flip the script and make me, you know, hoping that I was out still. So she could like be like, you see, it's your fault. And I was sitting there waiting, blah, 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 blah. But my mom would do this a lot, okay? So I was like, no, I'm here. And so she starts freaking cussing me out, swearing. I'm like, why are you even mad? Like, what is wrong with you? What the fuck you think? What do you mean? What's wrong with me? When I see, and so my mom was like, she gonna beat my ass because I'm asking her, like, what's wrong with you? Like, what are you talking about? You know? So she's pissed because I'm talking back at her. It becomes a screaming match. If you guys have watched my vlog, you guys know, have heard, there was some times where like I would put in my vlogs of like me and my mom cussing each other out. Not cute, not pretty, not something that I would probably do now. I shared a lot, right? So it was really nasty. Like if you would hear how me and my mom would talk sometimes to each other, it was like I wasn't talking to my mom, I was talking to a demon. Cussing each other out, I start crying because I'm like, oh my gosh, why? He sees me crying and he tries to like wipe my, I'm like, because I don't like to be pitied. There's sometimes I do, especially with my husband. Okay, like I feel like only my husband can do it. That's why I'm like, So I'm like crying. He's trying. I'm like, don't, because I'm sad. And he tells me like, well, why is she upset? I'm like, because that's how she is, Joe. That's my mom for you. He's like, I don't get it, but like we've been here for like, you know, like a good minute. And I'm like, because that's how she is, Joe. I don't know how to explain it to you, Joe. And it wasn't fair, you know, for me to think that he should understand, because That's not normal. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not normal, but it is something that unfortunately a lot of people understand. Unfortunately, y'all. My mom's gonna be getting locked up soon. Not because of me, because I just knew the events that would lead up next to it, right? So I tell him, I'm like, you have to go before she gets here because she's gonna think something and I don't want to do. Why would she think something? Like, I brought you here safe, we didn't do nothing, like you're just overthinking it. Hey, I know my mom, you don't know my mom. Don't tell me what she's gonna say, what she's not gonna say. I'm not gonna risk it because I like my life. So please just get to going. Like, please. Like, I don't feel like I should have to like over explain myself and like tell you like this, that. Just leave. Woo! He got so upset. So upset. I was telling him to leave and he was probably thinking like something else. So-and-so is gonna come and get her, or I don't know what he thought until he said it. So is your mom even gonna come, or like you just don't want like someone else to see me? You're really making it about you, Joe? Like, okay. I was like, go ahead and stay. Like, I'm gonna go wait over there. He's like, okay. So I get off the car. I go and sit on the steps because I know if my mom sees Joe, she's going to lose her mess because it's a boy and she's gonna be like, what the heck? What are you doing? Blah, 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 blah. She's not gonna be like, oh my God, thank you for bringing her safe. She's not gonna think that. She's gonna be like, what are you doing? Why are you with him? This, that. I wait there for a long time. I'm actually really surprised he even stayed as long. You know how my mom's like, I'll be there in like 10 minutes. She ended up taking a full freaking hour. We're waiting there. He keeps looking at me. He's like, I thought you said she was coming. I was like, that's what she said. And I hated that I have to like explain to him like how it is dealing with someone like my mom. Like, she might say this thing, but she's gonna say another, right? I'm like, you can leave. Like, no one's holding you here hostage. Like, you can leave. And he's like, that's what you want. I'm like, really? Like, we really doing this? Like, oh my God. This is something I didn't want. And he's over here putting me through it. And I don't even want this relationship. Like, what the annoyed with the whole situation, everything, having to deal with this, and then me getting brave with Mrs. Peach and then regretting it. So I'm just dealing with a lot of emotions where I don't need new emotions. My mom took a long ass time, right? Long ass time. She pulls up and she's walking out and she is just like super happy. And that's what like was such a trigger for me, is like, you just cussed me out and you think that like just because you're on cloud whatever that I'm on the same level as you, and I'm just gonna be like like, it's no big deal, mom. No, like, it was just really, it was so much like messing with here, you know. So she gets out of the car, she's with her friend, and I right away go for her friend. Like, I should have been going for my mom, but I went for her friend. And I was like, you couldn't text back? Like, you couldn't like respond to me? Like, what the, like, you're the only one here that somewhat still has like all the marbles up there. She's like, what? My phone died. So I'm like, okay, they're both on that stupid ass level of just being dumb, laughing stupid. You know how hard it is to tell, like, try to scold your parent and they're laughing in your face. And so my mom's like, why are you upset? And I'm like, because you just cussed me out. You didn't think I was home. I've been waiting here for like an hour. Something could have happened. She's like, Alexis, I'm pretty sure someone just barely dropped you off. I did you the favor and told you that I was gonna be here at this time. I gave you more time. And it was always those manipulation games of like, she was like doing me the favor. And I'm like, mom, like, no, like, something could have happened. She's like, but did it, Jade? Did it? No. Okay, so why are you giving me? It was so hard. So I'm fighting with her, yelling at her, being loud. And I'm like upset because I want her to just snap out of it. Like, I want her to be a mom. Like, I really want her just to snap out of it and stop acting like this. Like, what is wrong with you? So I get her to the point of like really upset, and she freaking snatches me and tells me to shut the fuck up and not to be raising my tone with her, that she's the parent and I am the child and I need to act as such. She grabs me and I yank, and I'm like, then act like one. And then I go inside and she's like, where are you going? Why are you acting like it's your house? And I'm like, I'm going inside. And so as we're yelling, freaking Joe is like pulling out. He's like that. And I'm trying so hard not to make eye contact with him because I don't want her to turn around and be like, you see, you were fine. You were with somebody. That's not the point. That is not point, you know? So I'm trying so hard, and I just look at her and I just look away. And the whole time I'm like, please don't look behind you, because Joe's gonna be there and she's gonna be like, what the fuck? Right? So we're walking inside. Her friend is like trying to calm the situation because my mom now, I killed her high, and she is cussing me out, calling me ungrateful. I was probably hanging out with, you know, the ex, or I was hanging out with some friends that she was giving me time, and it's not a big of a deal, and then I'm always out and about, and then the one time, and then just like we're just fighting, and I'm just like, just be normal. She's like, what the fuck? I am normal. And I'm like, no, you're not. Like, I don't want a parent who thinks that is like gonna make you like, no, because like I'm not against people doing it. I'm not. I just didn't want a mom who didn't know how to act on it to do it. You know what I mean? Like, I can't even hang out with certain friends that get to, because it gets to the point where it's like we're not even enjoying each other's company. Like, you're just too, and where I'm not on that level, it's just like hanging out with like a drunk person and they're like hella feeling it, and you're just like, and you feel like a party pooper, you know what I mean? And then I have friends who just like do it, but can still like, we can still have a good time and talk and like continue the day like nada. Hanging out with like my mom and stuff, or like being around certain people who like do it too much, or it's like I'll be talking about something and you'll be like, fuck, what'd you say? Dude, fuck, man, like, what'd you say? And it's like, are you kidding me? Like, what do you mean, what did I say? Like, we weren't even listening. So it's just, I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want it. And I hope I don't offend anybody, but it's just, I don't, it's like, the only thing I can compare it to is like drinking, right? Like, I'm cool with like the tipsy and stuff. I'm not cool with like the belligerent drunk. And it's just like, oh my God, like, it's just not fun. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not fun. I'm yelling at her. She gets so mad with my mom when she feels like she thinks she really thought like she was right. You know what I mean? Maybe she was right to a certain extent, because I even had other grown-ass people get into our conversation and be like, shut the fuck up. That's your mom and you respect her, period. And I'm like, no. And so we would fight. Like, I would have like men in my face, and like my mom would hang out with and be like, that's your mom, you respect her. And my mom would always be like, no, don't talk to my daughter like that. My mom would always interfere, like when a man would get in my face, but like a little bit too late. Like, she would let them say what they want, and then when they get crazy, because I had a crazy response, my mom would get it. And it's just like so toxic, you guys, like so toxic. Like, I remember like shaking and like even urinating myself sometimes when like grown-ass men would get in my face and be like, you better respect your mom. I should have just been quiet, because like things could have went left and people are crazy. I was so annoyed where it's like, get out of my face, out of my face. Because that's my mom. That is my mom. I'm not gonna tell her whatever I want. Like, it was just not good. So she gets upset because she doesn't know what else to tell me, and I'm not shutting up. Like, I'm already at this point where like I am pissed, and she wants me to shut up, and I'm not shutting up. I'm like, no, like, why should I have to shut up? My mom's friends like Alexis, just stop. Like, just stop. She's already like sober. You sobered her up. And I'm like, so that's my fault? So I start going in on her friend. You ain't nothing either. And I'm like, what is wrong with you guys? So I feel like I was like the only sane freaking person in the room. So I was attacking her. And so I was being so mean to her, which I shouldn't have been, because she didn't have her responsibilities with her. I wasn't her responsibility. My mom's just her friend. But it's just like, okay, then shut up. Like, don't interfere with me and my mom going at it. Shut up. Because you don't know. You don't know. You can't understand. Because when I'm not gonna even get into it, right? My mom gets so annoyed with me. She like grabs my shoulders and like shakes the shit out of me. My mom is rough. Like, my mom is rough. And I wouldn't put my hands on my mom, but when she shook me, it was like instant, like, because I felt like I wasn't arguing with her about something crazy. Like, I just wanted my mom. Like, why are you being mean when I just want you to be normal? She shakes me. I start crying. She's like, is that what you wanted? Is that what you wanted? And I'm like, no. So I just go to the back room and freaking cry. My mom comes in and she's like, give me your phone. Give me your fucking phone. And I'm like, why? Like, I'm not wrong. And she's like, give me your effing phone now, Alexisjayda. Yes. I tell her, here. And I give it to her, and I'm just freaking crying, because I'm like, oh my God. I'm mad at myself because I'm like, you know what? You should have just played along with it. When you saw her laughing, you could have just laughed it off. We wouldn't be here right now. She'd be chilling, laughing with her friend. It would be no biggie. Like, why did you do that? Like, why? Why did you play into it? Like, why did you let her get under your skin? Why didn't you just shake it off and be like, you know what? It's whatever. Why? So my mom's freaking pissed, talking with her friend, talking about me, like, oh my God, yeah, like, she thinks that she could talk to me like she round. So my mom talking really gangster, really hood. And so I'm in the room like mad, right? Because I'm like, I know I'm not wrong. I know I'm not wrong. I know I'm not wrong. So I'm just crying, pissed, and I'm like, oh my God. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm glad Joe saw. So like he can leave me alone about like, oh my God, maybe that he can leave me alone, because people always sort of like, oh, they understand. It's like, no, not until you see it. Then you're like, damn, like you were for real. Yes, I was for real, bitch. Like this is what I go through. So I think I was just exhausted with like all the crying, knocked out. I was tired. The crying, everything. I woke up, I had vava. Okay, and I was like, damn, what time is it? So I go out, and as I'm moving around to like get myself off the bed, my phone's right there. And so I'm like, she knew she was wrong. She knew she was wrong. Or like talking to myself, like thinking I'm cool, like no. So I wake up, I go to the restroom, and I look around, and like my mom's not there. So I'm like, what the fuck? Like, where'd she go? What time is it? Look at the time, and it's already like in the morning, like 2, 3 in the morning. And I'm like, what the f? Where's my mom? So she's not there. I text her, hey mom, like just woke up, where are you at? I'm the only one in the house. Okay, it's dead quiet. Go to the restroom, and I just start going through my phone because now like I had a good nap, like I'm awake. Start going through my phone. I see that Joe had messaged, and he's like, dang, like I'm so sorry. I didn't know it was this bad. You know, just giving me his condolences. Go through the rest of my messages, and it's the ex, and he's texting, huh? And like all our messages are deleted. And I'm like, oh my God. My mom messaged him. My mom messaged him. My mom would do that sometimes, where she would message friends or whoever she felt like she like wanted to, and either cuss them out or like try to create like friendships with like girls that I did not like. Sometimes she would go off on the ex, and I had to be sitting there kissing ass like, no, like this, like no, like that's not how it. And my mom did not care. My mom was just like, so what? The world's not gonna end. Like you'll be all right. You're making a bigger deal than what it is. So what? So what? And I would have to like suck it up and try to fix whatever it was. Looking back at it now, I shouldn't have gave a damn. But I wasn't in that mindset of like, he ain't I knew he was, but like not like I wasn't there yet to the point where I was like ready to cut it off, you know what I mean? So I would try to sit there and like pick up the pieces and like apologize, and like it was just toxic. And my mom would be like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? And she would make it like she was doing me the favor, because she knew like I couldn't cut it, you know what I mean? And like girls that she would try to make me like, oh, you should like them, whatever, or like cuss back at other people. And my mom, why are you doing that? Like why are you trying to burn bridges for me or create bridges? Like ain't nobody telling you to do that for me. So it would create so much anxiety when my mom had my phone at any time, because it's like she is gonna do something and I'm gonna have to pick it up. So all the messages are deleted, and he says, huh? So I'm like, oh my God. So I messaged him. I was like, I don't know. Someone had my phone. I don't know what was said. And he's like, sure. So I'm like, okay. I don't care. I don't care. Sacapito. Me vale verga. I was gonna be mean, but me vale verga. I don't care, you know? So I'm like, okay, whatever. I see that there's a message from Skillet. My mom was pretty much trying to see like if I was doing anything bad. Trying to see if I was doing like any D word, you know? And Skillet was like, what? I don't know why my mom didn't really like take me serious when I would tell her like that's not something I didn't want to do that kind of stuff, because how my mom would act on it. And it sounds so stupid, you guys, me saying like how she would act on like supposedly just the W word, but like I didn't like to hear like the stupid laughing and like, oh my God, this, like I didn't like that, because like it always led to like bad stuff, you know what I mean? So I don't know why she thought like I would want to experiment and like do that. I was like, no, like I don't want to be that person who's laughing stupid and like no one can take serious because I'm so intoxicated with that or whatever. I call Skillet because I'm like, I'm not gonna sit here and text her like, what was it, this and that. I'm like, hey, like my mom had my phone. She's like, yeah, I kind of figured towards the end when she was like, my mom was cussing out Skillet because I, you know, would tell my mom some stuff. So my mom was like, F Skillet, right? And so she's like, I kind of figured she hates me. And I was like, okay, so like what'd she say? And she's like, oh, she was just saying, you know, like what we did today. She's like, I had to tell her like, what are you talking about? She's like, because you didn't tell me to cover for you or anything. I was like, I don't need anyone to cover for me. Like I wasn't doing anything bad. Like I was just working. She's like, I think she was just trying to figure out like what you were doing. And I was like, oh my God, like how annoying. Surprisingly, my mom didn't say anything to Joe, which was like weird because like her probably reading like him being like, I'm so sorry, I didn't know I was so serious, was probably like she felt dumb, you know? And I hate saying that because that's my mom, but she probably felt like that, like embarrassed, or the message that he sent probably was like something that she didn't even like look at. I don't know. So I messaged my mom one more time and I'm like, hey, where are you at? Please message me, like what's going on? Nothing. So I'm like, oh my God, okay. So I text my mom's friend. I'm like, hey, I don't know if your phone's on. Where are you guys at? She messages back pretty quickly and she's like, we're at the bar. We should be heading home after we're done eating. Is there something you needed? I'm like, no, you guys didn't say anything. She's like, oh, I thought your mom said she said something. She left you your phone. She left you your phone. And I'm like, okay. I didn't say anything like if that was gonna be something. Like, it's not like my mom left me a phone, like left me the phone and was like, here's your phone back, whatever, I'll be back. None of that. Or like she could have sent me a text message like, hey, we're going out. I'm telling you, like she just wasn't thinking fully. So I just stay there like sleeping and I'm like, okay, like thinking about like the trip that we're gonna have to go on with Mrs. Peach and like just kind of thinking of like how things are gonna go, right? Sit there on my phone, I message back Joe like, yeah, it's all right, no one really understands. And he's just like, dang, like I'm so sorry. And then like I just added to it with like the stupid I was doing and I was like, it's cool. And he's like, no, like I'm so sorry. And it makes me mad, like why do people have to see that like what you go through to like be nice, you know, or not be like a piece of poop? So I'm just like messaging him back like, yeah, it's cool. It's not cool, but like it's done. What's done is done, you know? And I hear my mom coming in to the house with her friend and they're both like laughing, being, I hate saying it, dumb. I'm like, oh my God, great. Okay, I'm just gonna act like I'm asleep. My mom comes into the room very quietly and I just cover myself with the cobijas. Jay, are you awake? I'm like, acting like I'm sleeping, right? Okay, go back to sleep. Love you. I'm like, And then she closes the door. And I'm just pissed because I'm like, like, I'm glad she's home, but I just don't want to deal with like, I was just a mad, angry kid, right? For valid reasons. I can just hear them laughing and then I hear that there's guys and so I'm like, oh, okay, they brought back people, okay, whatever. I just want to go to sleep. So where I was pretending to sleep, I actually knocked back out. So I'm sleeping, wake up the next day and my mom's like sleeping right next to me. I would hate, you guys, when my mom would sleep right next to me and me wake up and me look at her so meanly. I would hate it. Like I would catch myself looking at my mom mean and I would hate it because I didn't want to feel like that. I didn't want to be like, ugh. I didn't like that. I didn't like seeing kids being mean to their parents. I didn't want to be that kid that was like, I even, not disgusted, but just like just pissed, you know, disappointed, like you wanting different. Wake up, I get ready. Joe asks me, hey, if you're not busy, do you want to get something to drink or like just like hang out? Wasn't say coffee, but he didn't say coffee. He's like, you want to hang out? I'm like, yeah, sure. I was like, you think you can take me to the beaches and stuff? And he's like, oh yeah, sure. Like, when are you gonna go? Telling him the time I'm gonna go in. He's like, all right, we'll have like, you know, more than enough time. I'm like, okay, cool. So he picks me up and he is with his mama. And she sees me and we make eye contact and she just like smiles. She's like so happy to see me. And I'm like, hi, Mrs. Bubbles. She's like, hi. And so we get in the car and he's in the back and it just kind of felt like, okay, like, not because we're going back to normal, but I just felt like, okay, like this is good, you know? So she's asking me, like, what do you want to eat? Like, we're gonna take you to work later, but like, what do you want to eat? Like, she's just like really excited to like see me. Felt really good. I felt happy seeing her, you know? And so I tell her like, oh, like whatever you want. She's like, you know, what sounds good. So we end up eating at a Denny's. I remember ordering the country steak. Is that what it's called? Yeah, where it's like chicken and it's like breaded. I got that. So I got that. We're just talking. She's like really happy. She's just, when you catch someone just looking at you and just like admiring you, that's what it was. Like she was really sweet. And she was looking at me and admiring me and just like drink her coffee and not even eating, just like looking at me. Like she was just happy like to like feed me. And sounds so weird, huh? Because like I appreciate her a lot, but I just want my mom to do that. And just like, this is what me and my mom should be doing, you know? And it sucks even as a grown adult, like when I take my, it doesn't suck, I don't know how to use the right words, when I have dates with my kids where I'll take one, so we have that one-on-one and we have dates, and I do it for all my babies, even for baby Jade. I have 6 kids, so we go on our dates, and even though it's wonderful and I love it, a part of me is like, was it so hard for her to do this? Was it so hard, you know, for her to just be good for us and do this? She's doing it now with my siblings, and a part of me is happy and a part of me gets kind of like celosa because I wanted that. Cut the cameras. She's asking me what are my plans, what, you know, pretty much just like filling each other in, filling her in. She's excited. Me and Joe are both grubbing. She's looking at us both and pretty much tells us, like, gives us a little bit of like, you know, we're better as friends and we learn from our mistakes, kind of telling us what's up without telling us like what's up, you know? And so I look at her and I nod. I'm like, yeah. And he's like, no. She's like, what do you mean no, Joe? He's like, no. Like, I don't want to be friends with Alexis. I was like trying to be mean, trying. And she's like, what do you mean you don't want to be friends with her, Joe? Like, that's really rude. Like, she's right here. He's like, no, I don't want to be friends with her. He's like, I want to be more than that. And she's like, Joe, what did we talk about? Like before, like, what did we talk about? He's like, I know. And, you know, just gets like that. And she's like, no, like, I'm serious. And I'm just quiet because I'm like, this is awkward, this is weird, because it did feel weird. Like, I know he's trying to be cute and be funny, but it's like too soon, bro, too soon. She nips it in the butt, nips it, which makes me happy because I'm like, thank you. We finish eating, we go and look at a couple of stores because we have time to waste. She's asking me like, how are things with your mom? Kind of tell her about it. Try not to cry. She tells me that things will get better. She believes in it, and she's gonna pray for me. Why are you so emotional, bitch? You better be starting a period. And that's like the that's like the nicest thing that someone can do for you is pray for you. There's only been like a couple people who have like done that, and I was like, yeah. She's like, no, like, no, baby, like, I'm really gonna pray on it. She'll be good. I really appreciate that very much, because I just want my mom. She's like, I know. You sound like a creep whispering, but I'm like, yeah, I just want my mom. She's like, I know. I'm so sorry, you guys. I just told her that's all I want. She's like, I know, baby. She couldn't get there, and I'm like, yeah, I'm just scared. I know. So we just go shopping, and I get a text message from Mrs. Peach telling me that she needs me to pick me up, but that I need to go in today. I'm like, yeah, I will. And she's asking me like, where are you at? Maybe I can pick you up. I tell her I'm with Mrs. Bubbles. I'm over here, beach. So she's like, okay, do you want me to get you? She's gonna bring you. And I tell her that she's going to take me. She's like, okay, great. Tell her I say hi, you know, trying to be fake. And I'm like, okay, I'll tell her. I tell Mrs. Bubbles like, oh, Mrs. Peach says hi. She looks at me and she's like, that's nice. And I'm like, very nice. She's like, extremely nice. And so we're just like being funny with each other, you know? And then it gets to the time where it's like, okay, time to wrap it up. We gotta go, you know? So wrapping it up, and she's taking me. Me and Joe really didn't spend that much time together or playful with each other. I think in a way, Joe, oh my God. was sharing his mom with me. And he knew like I needed his mom. This should be like a talent, doing your makeup or crying. Can you do it? You better not drop. Oh, my foundation. It's already hydrated. I think he knew I needed his mommy, so he was sharing her with me because of never talked through some tears. Because how he's seen how I was interacting with my mom, he's probably like, I'm gonna share my mom, which I really appreciate. I don't think I really realized it that deep then, but as a grown adult now, certain things make sense. This is therapy for you. Yeah, I think I did notice it back then, but I didn't notice it as much. She drops me off, tells me that if we can hang out again soon, and I'm like, yes, like, you know, I had a lot of fun. She got me a shirt, she got me some cute things, so I had my bag and had my backpack, and I was just like excited. And that's not why I hung out with her, for her to buy me stuff. It was just comfort. Holy shit. Forgive me, y'all. I didn't think I was gonna be this emotional. So I get dropped off, I go inside, and Mrs. Peach is just looking at me like smiling, and she's like, oh, you got some stuff? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, oh, qué bueno. You get stuff all the time? And I'm like, no. And then she's like, oh, what'd you get? And me thinking that she's being like nice, right? I got this, I got this. Oh, okay, bueno, okay, bueno. She's like, how much was it? How much did you make her spend? I didn't make her spend anything. ¿Por qué no dices, like, why didn't you say no then? I was like, because she offered. How? So I just put the stuff away. I'm like, okay, you mad about yesterday still? And she kind of looks kind of scuffed up, like she's wearing her tank top and she has like some scratches on it. And I'm like, oh yeah, your ass fell in a bush yesterday. You got your ass beat. Gonna stay and get your ass beat. Gonna leave and get your ass beat. So I'm like, okay. And so I asked her, like, is Baltimore here? She's like, why would she be here? And I was like, because she lives here. Why would she be here? And I'm like, okay. And I was like, why did you need me to come in? She tells me that she needs help with this project that she's gonna be doing. She needs me to help. I'm like, okay. She's like, can you help? And I'm like, I'm here. So I started helping her with this project. She's like asking me a little bit of questions, like, oh, how was dinner last night? And I'm like, good. Just being short with her, like, okay, you want to be a bitch? I'm gonna give it back. So I'm like, good. And she's like, oh, yeah, you guys talking about anything? No. I knew what she was doing. I knew she was fishing. If she would have played her cards right, we could have been besties. We could have been like, yeah, this is what happened. And then she did this, and then he touched her here. And then they were kind of like, hee-ha, hee-ha, hee-ha. But she wanted to be a freaking ass. I don't understand why people are so rude to the ones that they need. I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't. Like, I really, really don't. So she was just annoyed with me because I wasn't giving her what she wanted. But that's your fault. If you wouldn't have been to me, I would have been like, oh yeah, girl, they say this, they said that, and they were talking about you, they were laughing about you, and they were like, she tripping, like, oh my god, she crazy. But no, I was just like short. Like, I'm not gonna tell you nothing. So we're doing what we're supposed to. She's telling me that the kids are gonna be arriving soon, that if I could help with making them something, I'm like, yeah, sure. Cleaning up, making the kids something, and then we hear someone come at the door. All right, I don't know why. I don't know if it's because the air felt a little dry or something, but I knew it was Baltimore. I knew it. I could feel it in my bones. And I look at her and I'm like, oh, it's Baltimore. She's like, ¿Estás loca? I was like, okay, I'm crazy, bitch. Whatever. The door opens and who is it? It's Baltimore. And I look at her and she's like annoyed with me. I'm like, how are you gonna? Okay, makes no sense. Like, how are you gonna be annoyed with me that I just knew? Makes no sense, but go off. She opens the door and they pretty much lock eyes and she's like, don't start. So you don't start. So they both start with their little, don't start, okay? Now she looked like she got her ass beat. And I was looking at her. I cannot help but laugh because I was like, you got what was coming to you, and you got what, you know, what you needed. Are you happy now? So I was laughing because I didn't really get a good look at them yesterday. So she either got her butt beat by Mrs. Peach or she got her butt beat by somebody else. I don't know. Don't really care. Look at her, kind of just like laughed. If I had some wine in my hand, I would have been like, you know. She tells her that she needs to talk to her in private. Mrs. Peach is like, no, you can talk to me here. Baltimore, in front of her. Yes. Yeah. What about it? What do you got to say? And I'm laughing because I'm like, So it's such an awkward conversation because they can't even really tell each other how they really feel because they were holding back because I was there, which was so weird because it's like, okay, if that's how it's going to be, then leave. Okay? Then leave. I don't got time for this. Leave. I'm just looking at Baltimore because Mrs. Peach did a number on her. Like she got her good. I'm trying so hard not to laugh because of how this turned out. Pretty much telling her that it's not what she thinks and that they need to talk about something really important and very soon and not in front of me, and that she's going to help. She's like, whether you like it or not, I'm going to help, so stop. Baltimore telling Mrs. Peach. Mrs. Peach is like, you know what, okay, whatever, if you're gonna help, okay, but stay out of my way. Okay, fine. A little bit shortly after, the kids arrive. And one of the kids goes, you came over here? We just seen you. Which catches my attention and catches Mrs. Peach's attention. Miss Peach goes, what do you mean? She's like, yeah, she was just at Daddy's house. They look at each other and I'm like, dude, you so bold. You're so bold. I like it. Like, I'm getting something off of it. Thank you very much. So, they look at each other and just kind of like, don't even go, like, don't. They kind of smile, laugh, and ask like, okay, well, how was everything? Blah, 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 right? Oh, yeah, this. Oh, yeah, that. They're just catching up, being over there. Peach is like, how do you guys like it over there? We love it over there, mommy. And I feel for Mrs. Peach because she still wants to hold on to this. Mr. Peach is acting like it's all rainbow and shine. Like, oh, it's so fun. Of course, it's going to be fun for the first couple of days. After, and reality sets in, sometimes you start to miss the person, you know what I mean? I'm telling you, I knew too much when I was young. I'm having all these thoughts. So Mrs. Peach is talking to them. Baltimore comes a little bit too close to me, and I got something for her. So I have a pack of ice, and I look at her and I slide it over to her. She looks at me and calls me. It's really rude to call somebody. I look at her and I just kind of laugh. I'm like, and I walk away. Baltimore is pissed, and I swear it felt like she tried to grab me, but she couldn't. I feel like I walked, like I glided out of her way. We continued the day. Kids are little. They're testing the waters, okay? They're being kids. Daddy lets us do this at his place. If you don't sit your ass down, your daddy's only had that place for how long? Okay, shut up. Just kidding. But no, for real. So they were really trying to hurt Mrs. Peach's feelings. Well, daddy lets us do this, and daddy lets... And I would look at him, and I think they just kind of knew. Like, don't do that. Just saying. So she was kind of feeling like we had to like go out and get some stuff. We took like a random trip to go get some toys and candy. We were gonna start with all that again, right? Sam didn't get there right away. I don't know what homegirl was doing or what. When she comes home after we get back, she sees Mrs. Peach's face and Baltimore's face, looks at me and says, really? Really? Like if it's my fault. Like, what do you mean really, bitch? Ain't my fault. Ain't my people. What the hell? So I look at her and I'm like, what? Crazy, right? Like, no, not crazy that I said that. I mean, I'm looking at her crazy like, what? Don't come over here. I don't know what she thought. But she comes over and she's like, you feel good about yourself? I look at her dead in her face and I said, I feel great. I feel awesome. Why should I be held accountable for grown-ass women's actions? Tell me. I don't understand. Like, how does that make sense? Are you stupid or are you dumb? Pick one, because you can't be both. So we have our little exchange of looking at each other like, what? And so I tell her, what, Sam? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? And it just seems like the whole house is going crazy, right? Because Baltimore and Peaches got into it. Now me and Sam. Because I look at her and I'm like, what are you going to do? Like, honestly, like, what the fuck are you going to do? Because I'm getting mad because she's really looking at me up and down like she's going to do something. Like, then do it. Then jump. If you're going to look at me like that, if you're going to say some stuff, what? And you think I forgot that you called me a dumbass? What are you gonna do? Dime ahorita, what are you gonna do? Tell me. Step forward, jump, something, flinch. Let me know what the fuck you gonna do. So I'm talking to her crazy. She's looking at me. She's like, I just find it funny how like you're all about family. You want family, and then we're here, and you can't even break up a fight. It's none of my business. It's not. It's not. You guys constantly make me feel like I'm not family. You're very clear about it. This isn't how family treats each other. So what? And if you feel so disrespected, then do something. And I'm talking to her like that. Baltimore comes in because she hears that we're getting a little rowdy. Hey, relájate. I tell her, I'm good. I'm relaxed. It's her. Whole house is going crazy. I'm in her face. What you gonna do? She's calling me this. She's calling me that. She's calling me an orphan. She's calling me homeless. She's calling me raggedy. She's calling me ugly. She's calling me this. She's calling me that. And I'm like, okay, Sam, what you gonna do? I'm this, I'm that. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? And I'm just like literally like, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? As we're with our ruckus and we're fighting, Mrs. Peach comes out of the restroom and she's holding something in her hand. Now, I thought it was gonna be like a chancla. Whose is this? Whose is this? Whose is this? Dime ahorita. Whose is this? Ahorita! It's used, right? We all turn over, look at her. All of us, not Baltimore, all of us, even the kids, look at Sam. And I'm like, I just look at her, you know, like no judgment, because I'm with your mom, right? We all look at her, and I'm like, and Baltimore's like, oh, it's mine. Crickets. You can hear our panzas going. Now, it's already been used, right? The other hand, she's holding it. ¿Estás embarazada? I don't know if I said that right. Are you pregnant? She's like, yes. Who's the dad? I'm gonna leave it there. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will do a continuing of this. Had to leave it here. We've been recording for a long time, you guys. I love you guys so much. If you guys enjoy story times, if you guys enjoyed this story time, please make sure to give me a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already to keep updated my videos. Make sure you guys like the video. Make sure if you guys are not subscribed, subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you guys are notified. Leave a comment down below so that YouTube knows that you guys like this kind of video and push these videos out to you guys. I love you guys with all my heart. Thank you guys for all you guys' love and support. I'm talking really fast because I have to go with Babe. We have to go to IKEA. Something finally came in stock. So send us good vibes. Follow me on Instagram and Snapchat. I'm very active on Instagram. I like to talk to you guys. I have to do a get ready with me very, very soon. I love you guys. Besos a todos, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.